Thanks so much for joining me for WSAZ Plus. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shannon Litton, and we are in a first alert weather day today because of all of this snow that we are dealing with. I do want to go ahead, and if this is the first time you are joining us today, I do want to go ahead and apologize for my voice. I promise that I feel a lot better than I sound. I do have some warm water to keep me a little bit better there, but you know, this is kind of what you deal with whenever you have kids at home. Bro and Caden, thanks for getting me sick. Little shout out there to you guys. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about, of course, and it's the incoming winter storm. We've been talking with meteorologist Emily Dietz, with meteorologist Nicholas Snyder, but I do want to get a sense of how road crews are going to be tackling what's to come. And for that, I want to go to Michaela Bruning. She is the District 9 PIO, the Public Information Officer for ODOT in District 9. And Michaela, thanks so much for joining us. I know you, of course, know what it's like to have a kid get sick and have a kid get you sick for that matter.
I do. I'm just getting over COVID myself, so
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Let's talk a little bit about this storm. Of course, we know that we've been tracking the storm for the past week, so I know that the ODOT crews have already kind of been gearing up for this too. Are they already on those 12-hour shifts? What can we expect to see from them this weekend?
Sure, they are. So today we actually started on 12-hour shifts at noon. Our crews came in and just began pre-treating the roadways and making sure that everything is ready on their trucks so that when the snow does begin to fall, we are out there and ready to tackle whatever Mother Nature throws at us.
Let's talk a little bit about the salt. I know for some folks, not just in Ohio but Kentucky and West Virginia, are kind of worried about how much salt and brine crews are already equipped with. I mean, we really haven't hit any major storm yet, so I would say we have most of it still on deck. Is that right?
Yeah, statewide, we're looking good on the amount of material that we have. And in District 9 alone, we have over 25,000 tons of salt. So we are well prepared for whatever we need.
I know, of course, this is kind of going to, for at least for our area here in District 9, kind of probably the first major winter storm. Even though we've already seen snow this season, I don't think we've really been seeing too much snow this year, at least for our area. That being said, we have already seen, unfortunately, this season, a lot of plows hit already. And we are telling people to stay off the roads totally, but we obviously know that some people have to be on the roads to get to work and whatnot. What are some things they need to be keeping in mind? Because these crews are going to be out all day and all night, so all hours of the day.
They are. So over the next few days, actually, our crews will be out there around the clock while the snow is falling. And then again, after the snow event, making sure that the roadways are clear for anyone that needs to travel. Again, we are encouraging people to stay home. If you do need to go out, we totally get that, but make sure that you are planning for your travel. So there are all kinds of educational tools out there. You can
Mhm.
look up your local weather. We have OGO. And then there are so many cameras that you can look at just to really plan and see what's going on in the areas that you're headed. If you do come upon a plow while you're out driving, just
Mhm.
remember that they are out there. They're away from their families. They want to be home too, but they're really out there giving their time. So make sure that you're doing what you can to keep them safe. You make sure you're slowing down. Our plows will travel at a much slower rate of speed while it's
Right.
snowing and while they're throwing salt. So give them plenty of space to room and remember not to crowd the plow.
You bring up a great point. Everybody's trying to get home to their families, not just people on the roads, but obviously the people who work on the plows. I also want to touch on something that obviously safety first. That's the first thing. But once a plow is struck, even if it's a minor incident, that takes that plow off the road. How much? What like obviously that backs up your all's efforts to do this. How long does that back you guys up in terms of an incident that involves a plow? What does that mean for your crews?
Sure. So a lot of times, anytime they're struck, that takes a plow off of their route. Typically, our goal is that the routes are cleared within 2 hours. Obviously, in a snow event, while it's actively falling, you will have snow-covered roads. But again, the goal is 2 hours. So
Hmm.
when you take a plow off of their route, a lot of times that takes the truck off their route. Now, we are lucky that we have great maintenance facilities. We have great mechanics and people who are on deck and ready to take care of those trucks. But
Yeah.
again, that takes time. So you're just taking away from the route.
Yeah, it's crazy to look at some of the ODOT cameras right now. I mean, it looks great out there. It's obviously very cold,
Yeah.
but most of the roads are clear. I know I've been seeing some plows, kind of already doing those dry runs and making sure they know where they're going. And I know it's going to get severely cold. Can you talk a little bit? Obviously, I know that the plows are going to be plowing, maybe laying down some salt and brine, but that only works for so long, especially once we start talking about the single digit temperatures we're going to be into come next week.
Sure. So, like you said, we'll be out there. We're pre-treating the roadways today. We'll be laying salt, but once that temperature does come down, those things do become less effective. We will still remain out and plowing, but that really is just gonna come upon you when
Hmm.
you're out traveling. You have to know that our materials that we have are less effective. So, just be mindful when you're driving and be coherent to what's around you and drive to the current conditions.
All right, Michaela Bruning with ODOT. Thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon. I know you will be hearing more from you in some of our later newscasts today and even tomorrow. I mean, I know this is going to be an all decks or all hands on deck kind of effort to get
It
through this
is.
winter storm. So we really appreciate you taking the time, and we're obviously hoping you stay safe and warm as well in the midst of all this. Thanks
Yeah,
again
you too.
for being with us, and hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah, you too. Have a great day.
All right, see you later. Bye bye. That was Michaela Bruning with ODOT, getting you a little bit of a look of what's going to be happening, of course, with the situation with ODOT, and they're getting ready, of course, to tackle all of those roads once that snowfall starts coming down, which, of course, we've been saying all week, that's expected a little bit later today into the afternoon and evening. But I am not the expert on that. We have experts on deck that can tell you about that. I want to bring in meteorologist Nicholas Snyder, who has been tracking this storm since I think we very first spotted it over a week and a half ago.
Yeah, we were really keeping our eyes on it all weekend, last weekend, and this was a big time signal, and we're finally in crunch time here, at least the last couple of hours before this storm does get here. I want to take a look at our radar picture right now. Places like Lexington, Louisville already seeing snow, and actually, if we look at our Pikeville camera, you will notice some faint snowflakes starting to fall in Pikeville as we speak. So we're starting to get our first flakes falling over portions of the WSAZ viewing area. Now, they're just flurries right now. It's not going to be a huge deal until, let's say, the next couple of hours or so when things really get ramped up. But the main part of the storm still has yet to come. This is all of that activity that does remain still well back to the west. Again, Louisville, Lexington now getting in on some snow. And I did see an interesting report back here in parts of western Kentucky. I'm going to take the radar back. This report was made at about 12:30 or so p.m., right about there. And the snow started about an hour or two before that. Let's say 2 hours before that. And so when that report was made, I want to show you what this report was, draw this attention to you, just to give you an idea of the rate of this snowfall. And again, this is not even the heaviest snow that's falling. We saw a snow accumulation of 1 inch. That occurred in 2 hours. So that's half an inch an hour of snow. And that's, again, not even the heaviest snow that's falling. So there's quite a bit of heavy snow associated with this system. If you look down further to the south and west toward the I-40 corridor in Tennessee, that is brutally heavy snow that's falling over in that general area right there. We saw a report, I just want to pull this up here, because this will probably be very telling as to how much snow will be headed our way relatively soon. 2.3 inches of snow in a matter of just a couple of hours at 10:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So again, snowfall rates are going to pick up as we head later and later into the afternoon and evening. Again, we were showing you those multiple reports over toward the Memphis area, the Nashville area. There's still snow all the way back to the west over toward Oklahoma City, to Wichita Falls, Texas, even into the Dallas area where they're still seeing freezing rain. And that's why the National Weather Service has put out a winter storm warning. Again, that goes until the morning hours of Monday here. For that snow to come in, for a mix of snow and ice, and in some cases snow, ice, and rain to move its way on in. We have new model data, by the way, coming in as we speak. The run is not totally in just yet. In fact, if I turn around and look right here, we still have a ways to go on that. It's only hours, I should say 9 hours ahead of the current time. So it's going to be another, let's say, 20, 30 minutes before that run of the model is in, but that'll be telling as to any changes we need to make to the forecast. I think our forecast, for the most part, still on track. Again, you're talking about quite a bit of snow in southern Ohio with a major ice storm in the coal fields of eastern Kentucky and southern West Virginia. Again, most of the snow along the I-64 corridor shouldn't start until after 4 p.m., but it will spread in, become heavy at times during the overnight hours, And then we start to see a changeover around midnight down toward Prestonsburg, Pikeville to a bit of a freezing rain, some sleet. That should begin making its way up toward the I-64 corridor, that changeover, I should say, by about that 4 a.m. time frame on Sunday. And again, I want to highlight the area within the coal fields of eastern Kentucky here. That's Inez, Paintsville, Salyerville, West Liberty, northern Pike County, Prestonsburg. You're talking Williamson, Logan, down toward Beckley and Bluefield, Madison, Hamlin. This is a major ice storm area. Again, you're talking up to maybe half an inch of ice. Our latest model data, again, has a changeover back to rain by around noon on Sunday before everything changes back over to snow Sunday night and Monday. A few more inches on the back end of this as far as snow is concerned. So, again, totals for snow, I still think this is a pretty good ballpark estimate. On the lower end of 4 to 8 for Charleston, 6 to 8 for Huntington, again on the lower end there. 8 to 12 for Portsmouth, 12 to 18 for Athens, for MacArthur. Over for Waverly, Piketon, Raritan, Otway, places like that. 3 to 6 in that dark blue from Pikeville through Williamson to Logan, Charleston. But again, that's where your major ice storm is expected to occur, with up to half an inch of ice as a possibility here. Paintsville, Logan, Williamson, southern portions of Wayne County, Fort Gay, over toward the Hamlin area, Madison, Prestonsburg, Inez, places like that. That's where we're expecting that major ice accumulation. I do want to pull up our cameras from our sister station in Louisville, Kentucky right now. They are beginning to start to see a little bit of snow come down, and especially in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Do you see this, Shannon?
Yes.
This is very heavy snow
Well,
coming down.
I say you can see it, but not really. You know,
Right.
visibility's terrible.
Visibility is very poor. That's Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and again, that's the kind of snow that's moving our way. Pikeville, I showed you that camera. There's just flurries coming down, but later this afternoon, again, this is Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and again, this is our sister station in Louisville, WAVE, WAVE. Gives you an idea of what's headed our way. Snow-covered roadways in Corydon, Kentucky. Bear with me here. It may take a while for this to load up. We've been having internet troubles here, but look at those big snowflakes, and again, snow-covered roadways. Looks like they've done a good job of treating this road here in this part of Kentucky, but the deal is we are going to be seeing dropped visibility. Here's the south side of Louisville even. They're starting to see that dropped visibility and that slick travel. And again, bear with me. This may take a second to pull up here, but the general idea, again, is that we're going to be seeing conditions like this over the next couple of hours or so, rapidly deteriorating into the overnight, and as we head into tomorrow morning as well, adding that ice to the equation. So still a whole lot to talk about with this system, and we're keeping you updated on it.
Nick, definitely a lot there to stay up to date with. I know a lot. Another concern that we're dealing with too, Nick, is frozen pipes over the weekend. Now, I don't want to. We're still trying. While you were talking, we got a breaking news alert that I do want to just speak on just momentarily because it might have to do with the weather at this point. But we are hearing about an assisted living home that had to be evacuated because of a sprinkler on the top floor flooding the building. This is the Village on Park at 1600 Park Avenue that's being evacuated. But right now, we don't have really any other information at this time, and we don't know what exactly caused it to flood. But that potential for flooding your own homes, for that matter, is something we're dealing with, or we're going to be dealing with during this storm. Any tips right now, Nick, on things folks should be doing before this snow starts falling?
Right, and that was a good point, Shannon, because we had pretty cold temperatures overnight tonight. In fact, some cases we saw extreme cold. That's why we had a cold weather advisory overnight last night. That could have led to that. Of course, that's speculation at this point, but leaving those pipes at a drip, especially on Monday night into Tuesday, that's when the cold part of this system really takes shape over the area. So leaving those pipes at a drip, and really, again, find a generator, find a way to stay warm, because if you don't have power, you're going to run into major issues with, of course, the cold temperatures. And power outages are going to be likely in those areas where we do see a major ice storm. So we're keeping a close eye on it for sure.
All right, Nick, thanks so much. I'll let you get back to it. I know we're trying to get ready for a broadcast later on today, but still monitoring the calm before the storm, if you will. Still monitoring things ahead of all of this, and it's going to be quite a busy night here, but we will be keeping you updated. Be sure you have the WSAZ app on your phone and the WSAZ weather app as well. I know Nick's been posting videos to that throughout the day, and of course, we'll bring you the very latest on TV and here on WSAZ+. Stay safe, everyone.